This week on The Grind, we're calling on Big Kansas Outdoors to get us out of a slump and back in the game.
I yearn for a place to call my own. I'm going home. Say what you will, I'll be better for it still. I've been wondering what you're doing with your time, just to get you off my mind. I'm in the grind.
The Grind Waterfowl TV is brought to you by Dakota Decoy, premium gunning decoys for demanding hunters. Lucky Duck, masters of deception. Rio, official ammunition of The Grind. Share the experience. Mud Buddy, the king of mud motors. Excel, the boat to own. Cornerstone Gundog Academy, the world's most accessible online retriever training program. High Mountain Seasonings, handcrafted jerky, seasonings, and meat processing tools. Sitka Gear, turning clothing into gear. Alps Outdoors, exceed your expectations. Benelli, simply perfect. And these fine sponsors. This segment is brought to you by Mud Buddy and Excel Boats.
Well, we are actually getting close to Valentine's Day, and it's been a tough season. We've had good hunts, but we've had to work really hard to do it. And we came down to, we're either going to chase snow geese hard, which is going to be a tough year for snows with the juvie kill. So I got a hold of Ben Webster at Big Kansas Outdoors and said, Ben, we could use some help. We've got a couple episodes to get filmed. And Ben says, come on down. It's unbelievable. He gets the job done day after day after day. There's been pods of people across the country that have had a really good season, and Ben's one of them. And they did it all year long, and it didn't disappoint on this trip. The first morning here in Kansas, they were calling for some rain, possible rain. The night we got here and when we went to bed, it was drizzling, so we weren't sure what we were going to wake up to. Of course, we're like everyone else, first thing we do is grab the phone and look at our weather app, and they were calling for a dense fog.
We're in central Kansas right now. We're hunting a feed of probably about 4,000 to 5,000 lesser Canadas and some speckle bellies. They've been in here for 3 feedings now. We kind of got a weird wind. We got fog/mist, southeast wind at 10 to 15 mile an hour. So we do have a good wind. It's just going to kind of be, birds should be approaching over our left shoulder. We're going to use the 35-40 dozen, the Dakota Signature Series with the speckle bellies as well. Should be a good morning. Gotta change something up. That was a flare on us. Go.
Fog's a funny thing. We've had some great shoots in fog, and you can have, or it can do just the opposite, and that's what we found this first morning. We could hear the birds, the guys would call hard, and the birds would respond to the call, and it was goofy. We'd hear them coming, they'd hear them coming, you couldn't see them. We had maybe 1/8 of a mile of visibility, and they'd pop out of the fog, and they'd startle us. Well, honestly, we think the decoys were startling them. Ben had told us that he's dealing with adult birds down here, and they had been tough. So the first morning was very tough.
This segment is brought to you by Rio Ammunition.
We're back in central Kansas with Ben Webster and Big Kansas Outdoors, and we're on day 2. And the boys found a great big feed last night. We got a good northwest wind this morning. It's cold out, a little colder than yesterday. There were snows in here, there were lesser specks, so we're pretty excited. We got our rear ends handed to us again yesterday just because of fog, but we got bright, clear skies today. Everyone's optimistic. We got Barton Ramsey from Southern Oak Kennels with us. We're excited. We got snows, lessers, and specks. Day 2, central Kansas. All right, I'm going in. You know, the most important part really of a hunt, other than finding the birds, is covering blinds. And one thing Ben has always been adamant about is covering blinds. I always give him a hard time. No one likes to do it, but honestly, it's the most important thing you can do. So take the time, get there early enough and cover these blinds up. Today, on top of the cover already on the blinds, they've cut a bunch of cedar boughs, which is awesome. Usually the farmers don't mind you cutting them because it's a nuisance tree, and they make excellent hides. So take the time, get the blinds covered. Do it, man.
Kill him, guys!
So our day 2 hunt, the boys had been out scouting and they found just the mother of all feeds going on. They had this beautiful elevated field, and it literally, I'm guessing this is the high spot in the county because we can see all around us. I mean, we were elevated, and it's a comfortable thing for small birds. Snows, lessers, they like the higher spots in the field. I just feel comfortable. And the beauty when you're hunting it is you have visibility. We put that spread of decoys out, and man, they could see it. They could probably see them almost from the minute they got up from the roost. And it worked out perfectly. We had a nice little grassy area here that's full of these cedar trees, which makes great cover for layout blinds. You can cut these cedar boughs and cover up, and you just blend in perfectly with the surroundings.
Kill him, bro. Nice shot. And Bill's just out of spec, man.
Nice one.
Neck bend, neck bend, neck bend, neck bend.
Look at his leg up. Somebody take a picture of that.
Well, usually when Ben calls me out, I whiff.
That's a pretty spec, brother. Yep, I remember.
Hey Ben, big string up front.
Right, too. There we go, there we go.
There we go.
Oh, no. There you go.
Good rain.
Good
Good. There we go. That's why we come with Ben.
The grind curse is over,
The
boys.
grind curse is over.
Bad juju is gone.
This segment is brought to you by Dakota Decoy.
on day 2 here with Ben Webster and Big Kansas Outdoors. We got Barton Ramsey from Southern Oak Kennels, and it's cold this morning. Cold for these boys, us South Dakota boys. We didn't wear our long underwear this morning, but no, it did get cold. It always gets cold before the sun comes up, and it got cold this morning. The birds sat on the roost. They're starting to move now. We just had our first really nice volley, and we've been so overdue. We think our curse is over. We'll see if Ben can come through.
Here they come, here they come. On the right. There we go. Let's kill the specks, guys. Kill the specks.
Single coming hard from the right.
Martin, you're up.
Yep, Martin. Get him, Barton.
Kill him, Barton. I better clean up. You had to.
And that was my backup on that spec.
Bill was like, you said something about out in front of you or something like that, and I'm looking over here and I hear something. I look up and he's just going. I said, please no. I got called out there on a bird. Said, you're up, Barton. And I missed so bad that he wasn't even scared to not come back. He came right back. Missed him again.
Small geese, lessers, specks, snows even. They're funny creatures. I mean, they're very aggressive. They're aggressive feeders. One of the few species of birds, I guess even mallards, but we love these when they get into these bigger groups because it's like, who's gonna get to the feed first? And a lot of times lessers will act goofy. They'll act like a snow. They'll circle and circle and circle. These lessers and specks have obviously been very comfortable in this field because we didn't have one group actually circle us. They got downwind, worked their way up the hill and came in. And the minute they got there, it was like, who's gonna get to those decoys first? So you get 1 or 2 birds drop out, and once 1 or 2 drop out, the rest follow suit, and it was cool to watch.
Kill him, boy!
I think I just got, did I just get 2 with the 1 shot? Did you shoot at the same time? Okay, it was simultaneous, it had to be.
That was awesome.
Attaboy. That's some pretty birds right there. I tell you what, it doesn't get any better than bright sunshine. They glow out there.
Day 2 was interesting because we shot into several great groups of birds, and we had birds working us, but they were spaced out more than we expected, which I think actually wound up making the hunt more fun, more enjoyable, and easier to film. So, you know how it is. Typically you shoot into a group and you high five and I'm running dogs and people are videoing, and then here comes another group, you gotta jump back in the blind. And we didn't have a lot of that yesterday. We had, you know, good group comes in, shoot them, high five, pick them up, talk for just a second, 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes, and here comes another great group. And all the birds decoyed just perfectly, and we're spaced out just right, just enough for us to celebrate, have a good time, sit back down, and then do it all over again.
Kill him, boys! Nice shot!
Good shooting, guys.
The streak of tough hunting had finally come to an end, and we were firing on all cylinders. Barton was running 2 dogs, the whole group was shooting great, and the birds were reading the script to a T.
Hey guys, I'm Barton Ramsey and this is a Cornerstone Gundog Academy training tip. Today I want to talk about lining memories, which is the way that we teach our dogs initially to take a straight line out to a bird that they didn't just see fall. It's very simple with a young dog. We like to keep them on lead. After they're basically steady, they're retrieving single marks and they understand heel work. We walk a dog out, we toss a dummy, we have the dog sit for just a second, we turn into the dog, walk away from the dummy, maybe 20, 30 feet, turn the dog back around, line them up as if it were a blind with all the cues, and then release the dog on the retrieve. This is very important for gun dog training to teach a dog to have confidence to go out when they didn't just see something fall. And over time, you can extend the distance of your lining memories, and you can also add in factors where maybe you walk across or around a pond or walk over a ditch or whatever it is. So teach your dog, no matter what comes in front of it, it needs to take a straight line when it's given a straight line on a blind retrieve.
This segment is brought to you by Lucky Duck Premium Decoys.
You can shoot a bunch of specks. It's good.
Oh, here they are, right under the sun. Yeah.
Don't move there. Don't move there.
Oh, man. Looking to the left, Sean.
Get on him hard.
Right in front. On top of us too. Oh, good shooting.
Another one going down, Ben.
Yep. Watch that bird. Watch that cripple.
That was so cool.
There you go, Bob.
That's the beauty of Kansas. They get big geese, but they get a lot of these lessers, and specks come in mixed in with the lessers, and it's just beautiful. And it's funny, these big groups, it's like they get aggressive and they get greedy. And they're almost easier than small bunches. Takes one or two of them, decides to let go, and then the whole mob comes in. It's pretty cool. That's why we come to Kansas every year. That was beautiful.
So the birds flew a little bit later this morning, which was actually helpful.
They were trading water to water. We were a little bit nervous for a little bit just because we're hunting wheat. It was a little bit colder this morning than it has been the last couple of days, but
And just coming out in smaller waves.
they're just trickling to us, really.
That was our biggest group we just had. Good boy, Heel.
We're finishing small groups, a couple of big groups, and
A few groups teamed up there at the end and a little competition to get in the decoys, and it worked out really well for us. But we've been having groups of anywhere from singles to 15, 20 birds, and they're doing it just right. And it's really fun to shoot into them.
I think we just need around, 5 to 10 more Canadas, and then we can shoot some specs. We're going to get a count before we get back in the blinds, and we'll go from there.
Get the two, Ben. Right under the sun. We had one nice little bunch at the end of the hunt that started low. They got so low that Ben didn't see them. We were watching specks. He was watching the specks.
Nobody.
And we all got really quiet as we watched this, probably 15, 20 Canadas, or little lessers, climb up the hill. They got over the top of the decoys, and it was like they were crawling up the hill. And we're all sitting there, okay, Ben, anytime, Ben, anytime, Ben. And he didn't see him, and finally one of his other guys said, hey, Ben, we better shoot.
Kill him.
And then Ben saw him, so it worked out great because we really only needed a few birds, and now we got something to rib Ben about. Ben, we've been coming and hunting with Ben for a lot of years, and I'm starting to believe he is the king of lessers. It's a real joy to watch him put a decoy spread out in the morning. He'll watch, you can usually tell, same with ducks, we always say, the first group, a pretty good indicator how they're gonna act. Sometimes he'll let maybe 2 bunches do it. If something's not right, him and his boys, they are out moving those decoys. Just little tweaks. It's just a testament to him and his crew on chasing these lessers and specks. And that's why we come out here. Hats off to Ben again. Appreciate you getting us out here. It's Big Kansas Outdoors. He does this for us. We call on him, he gets it done. Great group of guys, and they know how to get the lessers.
Next week on The Grind, we're still with Big Kansas Outdoors, and we're headed to the same field we hunted day one, looking for redemption.